Hi, I'm Eileen Roche, editor of Designs and Machine Embroidery magazine. If you have a closet full of plain t-shirts and own an embroidery machine, you can completely transform that closet. Let me show you what I mean. I have 3 plain tees here that have been transformed with especially digitized embroidery designs and a little bit of magic. It's super easy to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. So let's take a closer look at these embroidery designs. This is hoop 1. All of these designs have been completed in a 5x7 hoop, so it looks like you need a jumbo hoop, but you don't. There are some interesting sections of the design that I'd like to show you. First, we have a horizontal straight line and a vertical straight line. That's going to align our t-shirt on the hoop. And then we have these outer straight lines, and that's a basting file to hold that t-shirt down to the sticky stabilizer that we have hooped. These little check marks are really alignment marks, and when we stitch our first design, we use those alignment marks to connect to the second design. As you see, I'll just match up those alignment marks, and when I do, the design is completely aligned perfectly. You can see how it comes out just like that. So to get started, I have hooped water-soluble stabilizer. And I've already stitched color 1 of the first design. So that's my vertical placement line and my horizontal placement line. I've marked my t-shirt by just folding it in half, meeting the shoulders, and placing a straight pin at the center neckline. Now, my second pin got a little misaligned, so I'll go ahead and place that in there in a straight fashion because I'm going to make sure that the whole t-shirt is aligned with this center line. Now, let's move to the ironing board because it's a wonderful household tool that you can use to hoop a tubular item like a t-shirt. So I placed that t-shirt on the pointy end of the ironing board, and I have the placement guide, the horizontal line, at the pointy end. And now I'll just grab my t-shirt and open it up, hem first, and just slide it right over. These nice soft knits are a little clingy, so they sometimes want to stick to the ironing board, but easy enough to get past that obstacle. So I'm aligning the ribbing with the horizontal line, and then I'm marching those straight pins right down that vertical line. And when I do that, then I know that my whole t-shirt is in the hoop, nice and square. Now I have to get this onto the machine, so we're going to slide it off the ironing board, and we'll nest it above the hoop. This takes a moment to get it all up above. It's even best idea is to pull the sleeves through because you don't want them to get caught. And let's move back to the table where it's a little bit more manageable. And we'll get the other sleeve under control. You know, the hardest part about embroidering on finished goods is getting everything under control. These embroidery machines were really made for flat goods, just regular pieces of fabric. But with a little ingenuity, you can control all of this bulk and wrinkles and folds. And I have a trick. This is a household tool that is a sealable plastic wrap that I'm going to place over those folds and just kind of grab it all and smooth it down. We'll work on that neckline next. Have to get this under control, or when we're at the machine, it could fall into the sewing area, and we most certainly don't want that to happen. The sleeves you can let hang free. They won't be in the way at all. And once we get that under control, it's time to move to the machine. So put the sleeves inside, and we'll go off to the machine. Now, once we're at the machine, you do have to take a moment to force that t-shirt, flatten it out so you can get the hoop onto the machine. And once you get past that bulk, you get the foot beyond that bulk, you'll be in good shape. There we go. To make sure that your plastic wrap doesn't get caught on the foot, and if it does, just pull it back. Boy, it sure looks like a mess right now, right? But once you get it all smoothed out there, everything will be in good shape. Then remove your pins. You don't want to stitch on them. And then we will access that embroidery design. I want to show you where it is on the machine. So at the machine, this is my home screen. Your machine may look a little different. I'm going to touch embroidery to access the embroidery area. My design is stored on the USB stick in a folder called T-shirt. So I will select the first design and touch Set and Embroidery. And you remember, I've already stitched color 1, which is displayed right here. So I'll use the Advanced key to move on to color number 2. And then I'll lower the presser foot. And I think I'll advance 1 stitch so I can see if my shirt's going to get caught. And off we go. So we'll let this stitch this second color, which is the tack down. And that's going to secure the T-shirt to the hoop. And it goes almost, good, almost down to the bottom of the hoop. But now I know that everything is safely secured in the hoop. I don't have to worry about any of the parts falling into the sewing field. And I'll lower the presser foot and I'll continue on with the decorative stitches because we have the beautiful flowers and some of the details and paisleys that surround it. But I've taken the opportunity to prepare a lot of other pieces at home so that you don't have to sit and watch this stitch for 15 minutes. So I'm going to stop this machine, and when we come back, you'll see how beautiful this embroidery has turned out. Now that all the beautiful stitches are complete, the eyelets are done, the alignment marks have stitched, it's the last color of this first design. And this is kind of where the magic happens. I have a piece of tricot knit interfacing that's fusible, and I can feel the glue on one side because it's rough. So I want to put that glue side up over the T-shirt, and I'm extending the tricot knit interfacing beyond the ribbing. And then I'm going to lower the presser foot and stitch the last color, which is that transformation. And the needle will move over to the center of the shirt, and it's going to stitch down and then across and then up and then repeat on the other side to give me a V-shaped opening somewhat. A slit opening, I guess we would call that. And the reason why it stitches in that fashion is if it started to stitch up at the ribbing, it would catch the T-shirt edge and probably pull it out of the hoop. So we've set those stitches to start at the bottom and work their way up so that they don't catch the T-shirt. Okay, so now that this is complete, we're going to take this off of the machine and we're going to move over to the ironing board again to hoop the next design. Now that the first design is complete, as you can see here, I've taken it out of the hoop. I trimmed some of that excess stabilizer away. My alignment marks are stitched. I also took the liberty of hooping another piece of water-soluble stabilizer and stitching color 1 of the second design. And here they are. So we're going to move over to the ironing board. And I have a handy little tool, a little alignment laser that I use to align the horizontal beam with the top edge of the alignment mark and the vertical beam with the outside straight edge of those alignment marks. And then I take my T-shirt and I'm going to hoop the T-shirt over the ironing board. And I think I'm going to get a little bit better centered here so that I can fit this all within the hoop. And I'm going to align that top mark that's stitched on the T-shirt with the horizontal and vertical beam. And then on the bottom, I want to make sure that the vertical line is aligned with that stitched mark. And they are perfectly matched up. I'll smooth this in place, carefully remove this. We have to nest everything again. And so once I get that nested, we'll go back to the machine and begin to stitch number 2. I have one that's already completed both designs, and it's ready for the transformation. So that's what we call this simple technique. Now I take my scissors and I'm going to cut right down the center of that stitch line, all the way down. And when you get to the corners at the point, you want to clip into that corner so that you get a little triangular piece. And that will make it a nice sharp opening when you turn it to the other side. So over at the ironing board, we'll pull this back, and let's go ahead and do that right now. And I would trim off some excess at the top of that interfacing. And when I pull it back, I also pull in that ribbing at the top, just ever so much, just a little bit of an angle. And I start by fusing that down, and I just work it all the way. And you'll continue all the way around. I do have one already complete, and I want to show you how to lace that up, because this is the fun part. Once you get that open and you get the tricot knit interfacing fused on the back, take the point of a scissors to open the eyelet, you just force it through, and then take 2 yarn needles and pull them through, and as you lace it up, that's your finish for a neckline transformation.